Indicator. Hello, good people, and welcome. Today, I am going to talk to you about how to deal with negative people without becoming one, right? So today we're going to talk about it a little bit different. I'm going to give you 4 areas that you can consider, but you don't have to do, because that's what life is about, choice, right? And so what I'm going to talk about is a little bit different, because now today we always hear that the way to get rid of or deal with negative people is to just leave. However, the reality is that most of us will not have the opportunity to just leave situations and people because they're negative, because there will be people in our workforce, there will be people in our church, there will be people in our places of worship, there will be people in a number of areas that do not mean we need to leave the whole situation to be able to deal with negative people. And so today what I'm going to try to do is give you 4 ways that you can deal with negative people and not become one yourself. Because that's the other part. When we get negative, the first thing we do is say, hey, you're making me feel bad, so I'm going to make other people feel bad. And then all of a sudden we have this cycle of negativity. And so what I'm going to do is give you 4 things. Let's go. 1 being shift the mood. This is a really simple task, right? Well, let me take that back. This can be simple, sometimes difficult, depending on how negative the person is. But what you really want to do during this time is to actually shift the mood by doing something positive, making humor a part of the situation or scenario, uplifting the mood, and instead of blaming the person directly. So I would never even acknowledge the person's negative mood. I would just strictly try to shift it with humor, comedy, introducing something positive that may have happened, or a funny story, or a really positive experience that may have happened. So being able to shift the mood by you controlling it, not allowing that person to strictly control the energy, becomes about actually acknowledging it within, that even though this is a negative energy, I am going to shift it by actually trying to be positive, give positive stories. Humor is always a good one, and really try to shift the mood. So that's one way to stay positive around negative people. The second one, this one is a lot harder for us to do sometimes, because we tend to think that person should just get over it. We all have bad things happen to us, but it's empathize. You know, for us to always think that a negative person just became negative is just a negative quote unquote person is unrealistic, because we all have bad days. We have days where we're not our best self. We're not giving the world a positive energy, where we can be rude, where we could be not so polite to people who we don't know and those we do know. And really what you want to do is empathize and put yourself in their shoes. Ask yourself, what could have happened today that put them in this mood? Why is this person struggling to be able to keep their mood in a positive light? Is there something going on at home? Is there something going on in their relationship with the boss if we're at work? Is there something going on with their relationship with how to learn or do this materials that they have to get done if they're in school, right? So what is causing this negativity? Not just automatically assuming that they are a negative person. I got to get away. I got to do something different. When in reality, all I'm doing is empathizing. I am not, and I stress this part, I am not assuming their energy. I'm just empathizing with it. I'm just strictly saying there could be something bigger than me. And I hope that I hope that they will be okay. I hope that they will get what they need to feel better. I am actually going to start to actually think positive about what I wish for them to be well. And right, so that first one is going to be shifting the mood, trying to see if you can make it positive. The second one is going to be able to empathize, really empathize with the person and what may have brought them to that position of negativity. The next one is going to be use their energy to see if you are doing a good self-assessment about your energy staying positive, right? So this is really one of those things where it's kind of self-absorbed, but it actually gives you an opportunity to actually use that negative person's energy to determine if I know how to keep my energy positive around the negative. And how do I do that? First off, I'm not going to, again, going back to what we said in the first one, I'm not going to complain about that person's energy. I'm not going to say, hey, if his energy changed, then maybe I could get into a better mood. Or why did he make my mood go down? What I'm going to do is see if I can learn ways to be able to challenge myself to stay positive around that person. And so this is a technique that I actually use myself a lot because I have a lot of energy. And so sometimes it could be a lot for people. And what they will sometimes do is automatically try to bring my mood down to theirs. And instead of me letting them do that, what I make sure I do is I check myself against their mood. And then I actually try to maintain my own balance of happiness, calmness, and peace, regardless of their negativity. And just some of the ways that I do that is actually to do a quick self-assessment. Is there something that happened currently that could be the reason that they're negative? Something that I did or said. If that person doesn't acknowledge it or tell me, I can't read your mind. So I'm going to continue my positive mood regardless. And what I'm going to then do after I do that quick check is say, what do I need to stay positive in this moment? And then what it might be is music, laughter. It might be acknowledging a happy situation in my mind or even out loud to the person. And that also give, again, that opportunity to shift the actual mood into the direction that I want it to go into. And so what I'm really doing with that one is empowering myself to maintain my own joy around negative people, and being able to first acknowledge that that person's negativity is not my responsibility. And secondly, being able to then do what I need to do to be happy in the moment and to stay positive. And then last, but definitely not least, set some boundaries. Okay, I've empathized, I've tried to shift the mood, I've actually maintained my energy, and every experience or exposure to you still feels negative. What I would ask at that point is that you actually set a boundary that says, hey, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm not sure if things are happening that you're not comfortable with sharing with me. However, because we are in this work setting and it's already stressful, I would love for us to find a way for us to keep the energy high. What are some things that you think we can do to make that happen? Right? So what I did was I challenged that person, set a boundary. My boundary is going to be, I need you to pick this energy up because I have to deal with you one-on-one all the time. And I'm asking in a way that is giving a request, but also asking for some options. Maybe you know something. Maybe you'll put your music on, or when I see you get your mood down, I can acknowledge it and you'll shift it back up. What I'm doing there is I'm setting boundaries, but I'm also requesting assistance in making it better without assuming I'm just going to not deal with that person. Right? Because here's the thing. Negative people are in our families. Negative people are in our houses. Negative people are in our jobs, or in our places of worship. As I said earlier, they're all around us. If we think by chance we're going to be able to elude all of them, then we also are fooling ourselves to think that we don't need to learn to control our own energy around all kinds of people. And so I'm going to give those back to you one more time so that you can remember them. You can do them in any order that you feel comfortable, but I just usually try to first shift the mood with some level of positivity, some level of understanding that we're going higher, laughter, funny stories, positive experiences. Then along with that, I'm also empathizing and putting myself in their shoes. What could have happened this morning? What could have happened throughout this person's life that has them in this constant state of negativity, right? So I'm empathizing with you. And then I'm actually trying to, for number 3, I'm actually trying to make sure that I don't assume your mood. I'm maintaining my own by doing things that first, acknowledging that I need to stay positive, but then also secondly, making sure that I come up with creative ways to maintain that positive mood around a negative person. And then last but not least, actually setting boundaries that say, hey, we have options to change this together. If you want to take those options, how do we do that? And what do you think we can do together? If after all of those things, you cannot find a way to be positive, then you can try some other things like leaving the situation, moving away from the situation, revisiting the negative person once they've increased their mood. But you don't always have, my main point of this one was that you don't always have to run away from negative people. Sometimes we ourselves are those negative people. And if everyone left us, how would that ever give us the opportunity to be better? And so consider that as you're working on dealing with negative people and not becoming one yourself. You guys be well.